Please, I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. Hey, how are you? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Seriously, right when I start this in airplane, like that's like super loud. Holy crap. Didn't even hear that coming. Anyway, hi, welcome. Whether it's your first time or not, I so much appreciate you popping on in and checking me out and seeing what kind of tirade I'm on today and sticking with me. It's appreciated. I'm very grateful, and you rock my socks for realsies. So, let's just get down to it. What has been keeping me up? What has been on my mind? Excuse me. Life. Lifing ain't easy. Instead of pimping ain't easy, it's lifing. Lifing ain't easy. No, it's just complicated. It always reminds me of the episode, I've talked about this before, but the episode on, oh my gosh, my brain, The Good Place, with Kirsten Bell and Ted Danson. And I always forget her name, and I like her, but she's on Saturday Night Live and Bridesmaids, and she plays like the judge on The Good Place. And basically they were trying to explain to her that it's, not everything's black and white, just good or bad. Like there's a lot of gray, and like being a human is complicated. And she's pretty much like shrugs it off like, you big baby, no, it's not. So then she goes and spends time on Earth as a human. And then she's like, holy fork and shirt balls. It is tough. Like there are a lot of like gray. There's a lot of gray, things are complicated sometimes. And I've done this and said this before, but when we say things like, I would have never done that, I would have never said that, I would have never, we never know how we're going to behave in any given situation. I know there are times I was not proud of myself for how I behaved in ways that I thought I would never behave, things I thought I would never say, I've said. I swore up and down that I would never say or do certain things until I did. And you just don't know what circumstances and what everybody's day has been, life has been like. You don't know the full picture. We tend to, again, myself included, I've definitely done this before. I am not a perfect person, but we tend to make assumptions and we tend to judge a situation right off the bat before we have all of the facts. Usually I'm really good about going into a scenario and observing and noticing things because, like I've said 100 times, I'm an observer. I like to gather information. I like all points of view. That's why I like photography. I like looking at things from all angles and dissecting why people behave the way they do, why they did or said the things that they did. And so usually I'm good about stopping myself and giving someone, the benefit of the doubt and trying to be like, well, maybe they're just having a bad day. But I've definitely not done that. There have been times that I have rushed to judgment. I've made assumptions. I haven't looked at the big picture. I've seen the edited point of view. And now here we have news media that is being sued for editing and censoring and not giving the full information to its citizens. It's their duty. It is their duty. If you are an actual journalist, your entire goal should not be from your perspective only and have your opinion in it at all. You're supposed to be trying to gather information and gather the facts. And once you've gathered the facts and gathered information by going out on the field and actually talking to people from all races, all religions, all backgrounds. And then you gather all the data and you gather all the stats and you take your opinion out of it because it's not about you. It's about gathering information to give to the public so that the public now can arm themselves in whatever way they feel they need to, because we are grown men and women and we have the right and get to gather information and then make the choices that we want after we have that information. But we need to have the correct information. We need to have the facts. We don't need to have the watered down version. And we certainly don't need to be censored and having misinformation given out. We certainly don't need things covered up like the Biden administration and the media did. And they should be sued because you are now not putting out all the information, so then we, the citizens, don't have an informed point of view. We don't get to make an informed decision, like with the vaccinations. There are so many miscarriages happening now from people that have had the jab. There are a lot of health concerns and a lot of health issues that have come up as a result from the jab. And man, I had a boss that was just, her son was a pharmacist and she just swore up and down that these things were great. And I was like, but they've only been out for 6 months. She's like, oh no, it's been like a year and 6 months. No, it had been 6 months. And everyone was just all about putting something that had not been around longer than, it wasn't even a year old. It wasn't even a year old. And we're just going to put that shit in our bodies? And it's crazy to me because people that have used herbs have lived a lot longer throughout history. Granted, I'm not against vaccinations. I understand that, people used to die of influenza and chickenpox and the mumps. I get that. But cancer, to me, I think 100% there are herbs and ways that we can live, a lifestyle that we can live, and herbs and natural things that we can do to prevent and or get rid of cancer. And of course, pharmaceutical companies aren't going to want you to believe that because they make a boatload of money not curing cancer. And people used to be like, yeah, but they would make a boatload of money if they found the cure for cancer because now they would make a fortune off of that pill. Maybe. But they're making actually a lot more with all the millions of different kinds of cancer there is out there and all the different treatments and stuff. And Dems have a long history of wanting to keep people sick and uneducated. I need to stop saying Dems because, again, I have a lot of friends and people that I respect and I like that are Democrats, and I consider them intelligent and we have a lot of things in common outside of politics. So I'm going to say the extreme left. You don't get to say my body, my choice while screaming, get the jab or else. You don't get to cover up Biden, who was our president, that had access to nuclear weapons and talked to dictators and had to make, what if we were starting to go into a war? You have to be able to make decisions. And if your mental and physical capabilities are now impaired because of dementia and or cancer, that is something, again, the American public should have been informed of. And as a journalist, as the media, they should not have covered it up. They should not have censored because censorship is against our rights. So they have now violated our rights as an American citizen. And they have blatantly, purposefully covered up facts that the American public 100% needed to know in order to make an informed decision. We need to know if our president can perform his or her duties. It's nothing against Joe Biden. Hey, I was a huge advocate of people not making fun of him if he actually has dementia. I'm like, it's not the guy's fault he has dementia. My mom and my family members have had dementia, and it's not funny, and it's nothing to make fun of, and it's not his fault. I was never on board and always stuck up for him having dementia, and I didn't think it was funny or fair for people to make fun of him if that was the case. Turns out it was, and all of the Biden administration kept telling everybody that the Republicans were crazy. And then they tried to make up a whole bunch of stuff to keep the eye off the ball, just like they're doing now. Eye off the ball that Fauci tried to kill all of us. And Fauci tried to make it sound like this vaccination was a good thing when we all now know it wasn't. Tried to cover up information about COVID, where it came from, how it started, who started it. So they covered up the information about COVID. They covered up the information about the vaccines. They covered up the information about Biden having cancer and or dementia. So all of the things that Republicans were accused of being crazy conspiracy theorists all end up being true. They tried to say that Trump and Putin were in cahoots together and it was Russian collusion. Proven to be a made-up thing by Democrats so that Trump would not get elected. It's just always lies. I don't understand how someone can sleep at night, rest easy, sleep in just sound and peaceful without any conscience of the fact that you encouraged and promoted and convinced a large amount of people to inject their children and themselves with something that was not at all studied or out long enough to know what on earth it could possibly do. And you did not give any information. You didn't give the correct information. You hid the facts. You hid the stats. You censored. You bullied people that tried to give out facts. You tried to ruin people's lives, ruin their livelihood, and destroy them if they tried to get out the facts. You hurt and killed animals. And somehow Trump is the bad guy. And every single time you try to ask someone that hates Trump to point to something that he has said or done, why they feel that way, they say the same exact regurgitated baloney. He's a racist. Yet they cannot prove a single thing, show a single video, anything that has anything to do with Trump being a racist. In fact, what you can prove is Trump has done more for the Black community than Obama and Biden combined. Biden has been in politics for 40 years? Combine all of that with Obama's 8. That's 48 years, and Trump has done more. And you can get the facts on that. It's just disgusting and disturbing that the same people that are promoting and encouraging murder of babies, the mutilation of children, of minors, that promote maps, that promote adults dancing for money for minors, that promote going around and punching and vandalizing and burning and bullying children, elderly, anybody, all walks of life that they don't agree with. God forbid someone has a different opinion, because if they do, you will encourage people to kill them. You encouraged Trump, the assassination of Trump and the vice president and his cabinet members, encouraged it, promoted it for 8 years, over and over and over, repeatedly, like a waterboard. like someone that does the tap, 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 tap for 8 years, tap, tap, tap for 8 years, waterboarding for 8 years, doing the I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you. It is disgusting and evil, and those that cannot see it are so weak. And unfortunately, I have this side in me that is primal. It's that primal side that comes back to maybe a formal life, maybe instinctual, maybe biological, maybe who knows. But I have this instinct in me where I feel horrible and I will stick up for the underdog. I will absolutely protect and stick up for someone that is a genuine victim and being bullied, and that is maybe feeble because maybe they're elderly or they are a child or just not big enough to stand up to the person that is picking on them. But if you are weak-minded and you are weak, as in you are just this little like, fearful of life little thing, it just makes me want to treat you like an orca whale, kind of how it does before it like eats its prey, just toss you up. I hate that. But if I'm being really honest, people that are so triggered all the time by everything and just constantly sad and constantly complaining and constantly unhappy and constantly Eeyore and just complaining and a downer. I just want to be like a cat and you're the mouse and be like, run. I'll give you a head start a little. And then go after them like prey. I'm sorry, but I do, and I know I'm not the only one. I'm going to admit it. Now, I am the most kind-hearted person in the whole world. I will give people the shirt off my back. If you are someone that is genuinely trying and you're down on your luck, I feel bad for you. If you are someone that is, I just don't like the entitled little babies that just go around throwing temper tantrums all the time. And they can't handle life, like the people at Starbucks. Like Starbucks created their own mess because they're the ones that welcomed and promoted wokeness. They were totally on board with wokeness, so they reap what they sow. They made their bed. They're lying in it. Don't feel bad for Starbucks. But what cracks me up is, so now they've created these entitled little brats that think that they get to dictate what they wear at work. Their employers, the owners, the bosses, their bosses, get to dictate what they wear. And if you don't like it, you can get a new fucking job. That's what you can do. You can get a new job. That kind of weak, that kind of garbage. Oh my God. I just want to fuck with them so bad. I can't help it. Because I feel like America's being picked on and I don't like it. I'm sick and tired of all of this hate and anger going on by these entitled, spoiled, rotten, out of touch with reality celebrities and humans in general. It has gotten to the point where I genuinely feel like we are on an episode of Punk'd or we are on the Truman Show. It's so out of whack. I don't know if the end of days is coming. I genuinely can't tell you how much I don't give a shit who you are as a human. I welcome everybody. All walks of life. Don't care what you wear. Don't care what you identify as. Don't care what political or religious affiliation you identify as. I just care if you are an asshole and a hypocrite and a liar and a bully. I don't like those things. I don't like to see groups of people being picked on and people not having all the information and being a little lemming and just walking themselves off the cliff. Remember when we always told people if everybody jumped off a bridge, would you? but everybody's jumping off a bridge. Remember when we told our kids, don't talk to strangers, don't take candy from strangers, but allow strangers to put their peepees in your face, though. Pay strangers to wiggle and dance half naked in front of your face. That's okay. Go sit on a stranger's lap. That's okay now. That's encouraged now. Have surgery to remove your boobs, take a bunch of chemicals, inject them in your body that are going to make you sterile later and have all kinds of health issues. And let them make that decision at 12 and take it away from the parents. Don't let the parents make that decision. And if you do let the parents make that decision, give them a bunch of misinformation, misguide them, misdirect them. Don't actually give them the facts. The media and the Biden administration neglected to give the public facts, and they're doing it now to this day. The media is still, even while being sued from Trump, they are still putting out nonsense and garbage. So is CNN, so is MSNBC. Rachel Maddow will not stop yapping her gigantic head. I think that she is part alien, but like a dumb shit alien, because everybody always assumes that if you aren't from Earth, if you are from somewhere else in the universe, that it automatically means that you're smarter and that you're more advanced. But couldn't it also be true that there are dumber planets out there like the movie Idiocracy? Maybe there's actually places that aren't as advanced, that are just a bunch of dumb shits running around with buckets on their heads, running into walls. She's that kind of alien. And again, I've always said, and I'm standing by it, Anderson Cooper, half alien or all alien. I don't know. Tom Cruise, alien. Tori Spelling, alien. Rachel Maddow, alien. Just saying. Tyler Perry, maybe. So, perspective and getting all angles, and journalists need to be putting out facts and going out and gathering information and getting perspectives that maybe they don't want to get. Just like when you're in a court of law, it's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but the Democrats have made it guilty, and then you have to somehow prove yourself innocent. And in the meantime, you're going to taint everybody's point of view by putting out misinformation, by editing every interview, by putting out only clips of things, by twisting things around, by misleading people, by just censoring people and promoting social media sites to censor and remove anybody that puts out the truth or that questions the government at all. That is the most sinister, disgusting thing. And the Biden administration and Fauci are responsible for murder. They have murdered people. Trump has had every aspect of his life dissected by every fucking branch of the government, and they couldn't come out with anything. So they had to keep making shit up and hoping it sticks, throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. And it never did. So then they were like, fuck, man, what are we going to do? And then they had to contort things and twist things. And then they tried to assassinate him twice because they were like, man, this dude's got to go. He is fucking up our money laundering. He is making it where we're not going to be able to make millions. And now we've promised all these dictators blowjobs and we're not going to be able to deliver. Hunter has got a lot of BJs to give and we have pimped him out. And now what are we going to do? They kept away Hunter's laptop as well. They denied us anything from Hunter's laptop, swept it under the rug, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. Hillary's emails, oh, nothing to see here. Biden's dementia, nothing to see here. Vaccinations, nothing to see here. COVID, nothing to see here. Russian collusion, nothing to see here. God. Slavery, KKK, nothing to see here. All of the open borders with all of the illegal aliens coming in, and then somehow saying that they're refugees from South Africa whose lives are in danger, who have been targeted, and groups of Black people are chanting to go kill Brah or whatever it is. Brah, Brau, I think it was. When people are fearing for their lives, that's called a refugee. And we've never had a problem with that. We don't have a problem with legal immigrants, nor do we have a problem with refugees. But again, there's a big difference between that and illegal aliens that are, sex traffickers, murderers, rapists, the cartel. Those are a lot different. And to try to compare the two means you're either A, an idiot, B, blind and deaf, because you can't see or hear anything or read anything. Or you're a lemming that just blindly follows what everybody else says. You've got a bucket on your head and you're just randomly bouncing into stuff. I've done it. I always say the internet's forever, and I've said some things that I'm like, oh, yeesh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I look like an idiot. But I can admit it. I can say that was stupid. I can say I was wrong. I can admit that I was uneducated, that I was ignorant. There's certain things there's certain topics I don't talk about because I'm ignorant about it. Ignorance not a terrible thing. It just means you are not educated on that particular topic. It doesn't mean you're a stupid person. It doesn't mean that you as a whole are dumb or a moron. It just means that you're ignorant on whatever that topic is. You could be a really intelligent person and still be ignorant about some things. But when your only line of defense is to call people names, to go around going, you're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're a Nazi, that is just you being uneducated and a weak-minded person, because only weak-minded people go around calling people names because they're weak, they're insecure, they're uneducated. So they have nothing else other than to go around. The only tool they have is to try to hurt people. They go right to hurting people, trying to piss people off because they don't have coping mechanisms, or they don't have the education to back up what they say or the education to debate with you. So then it's a self-defense mechanism. They're either super insecure, they are highly uneducated, or they're projecting, and they're weak. I know that when I have jumped right to calling someone names, it means I was having a weak moment. I was being weak. Maybe I felt insecure at the time. But that's what people do. And that makes you look like exactly those things: uneducated, weak, intolerant, insecure. But it doesn't suddenly doesn't suddenly make what you say true, and it suddenly doesn't make a fact go away. So it's just a weird defense. But at any rate, point of view is just a really good thing. And we right now are really attacking Trump and Trump supporters in a way that is so scary and unhealthy and frightening and deranged that I am genuinely wondering if the government has injected, when you guys got the jabby, if they injected you with something that is literally making you go crazy. Because on that note, all of you out there that are pro the surgeries, the mutilation of bodies because people are delusional and think that they are a man when they're a woman or vice versa. And then you guys decide that it's okay to cut off body parts and inject them with hormone crap, with hormone blockers. It has now been linked to psychosis. So they are out of touch with reality. So the stuff that you are giving them to suppress their hormones is making them out of touch with reality. It's giving them psychosis. And then the jab is causing miscarriages and death and health issues. And then there's abortion. I mean, I'm just saying. And then there's going out and burning everything and vandalizing everything and promoting the assassination of Trump and the vice president. That is a lot of hate, like deep sadistic, deep-rooted, profoundly disturbing stuff to unpack there. Like that needs a lot of deep, deep, deep counseling, some hypnosis. Like that's a lot of hate. That is a lot of insecurity and a lot of weakness that you have. I don't know what you have going on in your life to make you behave that way and to think that those things are okay. And then to sit on your righteous soapbox, on your pedestal, looking down at everybody, saying how great and loving and accepting and peacekeeping and tolerant you are. Are you kidding me? You're going to sit up there on your high horse and promote dancing in front of a child half naked, and you're going to promote people being overweight and saying that it's great to be 300 pounds when you're only 5'6". Yeah, it may be great as in you're still a beautiful person. You're still worth living. You're still, I'm sure, a wonderful human, but it's not healthy, and we shouldn't promote being unhealthy. Why are we promoting being unhealthy and killing things? And then you're calling Trump supporters Nazis and Hitler when, by the way, Jewish people are incredibly offended by that. You are offending Jewish people, and now we're keeping Jewish people and white kids out of schools. We're preventing them from going to their public schools that they have a right to go to. And on top of that, we're defending Carmelo Anthony and his parents. Oh my God, it's just, I'm not getting sleep. I'm not getting sleep. I'm getting fired up. I'm getting scared. I'm getting pissed. And that's not me. I consider myself the opposite. I consider myself somebody that genuinely wants to help people, that genuinely cares about people, that can stop me at a grocery store and talk to me, and I will listen. I will give you the time of day if you need someone to talk to. You can call me in the middle of the night. My friends can call me in the middle of the night if they're genuinely upset. That's who I am. I have compassion. I have empathy. I can give grace. I can be humble. But man, right now I am just so angry and so pissed and hurt and confused as to how on earth a group of people can say that they are so righteous and act so righteous while at the same time promoting and encouraging and asking for the assassination of our president, vice president, and cabinet members that promote and encourage bullying and threatening any Trump supporter, that promote and encourage the destruction of other people's property, that promote and encourage injecting ourselves with a vaccination that was not even out long enough to know anything about it, at the same time saying my body, my choice. These things are just, the Trump derangement syndrome is just real. And this is about America. We all have to live here. This is exhausting. This is exhausting. I am exhausted. I don't want to live on this planet worried that if I wear a Trump hat, I'm going to fucking get shot in the head. Meanwhile, people can parade around with their dicks halfway out in front of me, and I have to put up with that? So you can parade around half naked. You can wear whatever you want. You can be a furry out in public. You can have your wanker hanging out in public. You can have your tits out in public. You can pretty much hump out in public. And I have to deal with that. I have to deal with your bullshit Harris Biden crap. I have to deal with all of that. But God forbid I wear a t-shirt that doesn't harm you in any way. Because your t-shirts don't harm me. In my head, I may be like, oh, fucking A. But I'm not going to bully you or murder you or hurt you because you're wearing something that I don't like. Now, if you are a man trying to get into my bathroom, I will harm you. I will stick up for myself. I will stick up for myself. I will defend myself because you don't belong there. And that's a lot different. I don't care if you wear your Biden shirts or your, religious shirts or your rock bands that you don't like, because everybody is entitled to their opinion. That is why you don't see MAGA going around burning shit down and destroying everything because of somebody else's opinion. It's exhausting. I want to live my life. I want to hang out with dogs and animals and laugh and enjoy life. So I encourage everybody to try, even though life right now, like I said, lifing is hard. Pimping ain't easy, lifing ain't easy. So we all need to try to, again, control what we can, let go of what we can't, take those deep breaths anytime we start feeling nervous or just before bed. I'm still stretching. I've been stretching a lot, working on my posture. Everybody, have that string that is attached to the top of their head that is pulling their head to the ceiling, shoulders rolled back, chest out, and just working on posture and working on controlling what we can and taking a breath and focusing on the good. Otherwise, you're going to turn into a me that has wrinkles, that's stressed out, that has insomnia, that's a big old anxiety-ridden crazy pants. I'm trying to not do that because I have family that I want to focus on. I have animals that I want to focus on, and I have life that I want to focus on. So I encourage you guys to do the same. Focus on the life you've been given. And part of doing that can be listening to my podcast. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a coworker, tell a spouse, shout it from the rooftops. Let everybody know, hey, this chick is worth listening to. Thank you so much. Until next time.